Hey, you feel that?
You are now tuned into You Feel That with Bryce the Third.
Yo, and welcome to You Feel That with Bryce the Third, the show where we aim to turn your I can'ts into I got this by providing you with tools and ways of looking at life that empower you emotionally and mentally, no matter what field you are in. I am, of course, your host, Bryce the Third, and today feel like a prize fight. But first, let me give you some context. I want to be open, honest, and transparent. Here at You Feel That, thus far, I am the only employee. So I do the recording, I do the editing, I do the scheduling, I do the run of shows, and I put everything together. A big part of this process thus far has been the editing, and I am the only editor thus far. Soon enough, I'll be able to hire somebody to do the editing for me because I am working on putting myself in a position of only having to do what it is that I really want to do and what I feel I'm great at. But until then, it's me doing the editing, and I fucking hate editing. But you know, I'm going to do what I need to do to get the job done, you feel me? So I'm working on doing more straight through episodes where I don't necessarily have to edit. So we can bang them out. I can get you the content that you're looking for. Free, accessible, and succinct. Especially on these solo shows. We got some interviews coming up, which takes a little bit off of my plate for editing. But with all that said, I kind of want to speak this week on the essence of this energy. I was at this conference this past week at my mentor's conference, and it was a young lady there, and she was talking to our mentor, our shared mentor. She's on CNBC. I can't say her name, but she was the type of person that always needed her notes around. She had to have her notes. If she didn't have her notes, then she wasn't prepared. She felt ill prepared if her notes wasn't there. So she was tapped to do a presentation in front of a live ClickFunnels seminar, and she inquired to our mentor, like, what should I do? Like, I'm not used to speaking off the cuff. I need my notes. If I'm doing this live event, I don't have my notes. And our mentor had told her, you are your notes. You are your notes. And she said it was that sentence that resonated with her to the extent of helping her to put her notes down and showing up and just being a testament to the work that she's put in thus far. Now, when she shared this really stuck out to me because of the preparation that I do for this show. It's a lot of damn notes sometimes. There's a lot of notes, and there's a lot of stopping and pausing, and there's a lot of editing. And I wondered, could I do a show where I didn't necessarily have any show notes? Could we make that show episode on you being your show notes? And I would venture to say that the answer to that question is yes. So I felt like it was a prize fight coming into the studio today, like dun, 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 dun. Here we go. And in this corner, Bryce the Third without his notes. And I think this is an exercise, this is a practice in belief set. Our belief system is a container filled with our understanding around what we believe we can do and what we believe that we can't do. A lot of times we don't even see it as a belief set. We see it as our identity. So this is me. I can't do this. I can do this. That's a lot harder to change who we are than it is to change a belief set or a pattern. But we tend to identify with what it is that we are or aren't as we see it to be. So we get into a groove. For me, it's developing a run of show on my podcast and developing this process that I've had of putting this podcast together. And then it becomes our reality. And then we are practicing actively what it is that we believe that we can do. And we are not actively practicing what it is that we think that we can't do because we don't think that we have the capacity to do so. So I guess the question that I would posit today is, can we change our belief set if our belief set doesn't align with the desired reality? Where do we desire to go? Who do we desire to be? What do we desire to do? So with those three questions, if we sit down and meditate and contemplate on those three questions, and we come up with answers that don't align with what it is that we feel that we have the capacity to do, then there's some work to be done. Now we can set forth to align our belief set with what it is that we want to make happen. And how do we align our belief set? Well, first we got to come into contact with it. A big indication of what it is that I may believe that I found is my language. I'm very picky and choosy about the words that I use because the words that I use further solidify what it is that I've come to believe. So if I say stuff like, I can't do that, or if I say stuff like, oh, I'll never hang out with people, or nevers, like the nevers, I have to definitely watch out for the nevers because never assumes that, and also can cast a spell on the fact and continue to perpetuate that I'll never do something. It's almost like casting into stone my belief by speaking the words, I can't, I'll never do it. But learning to pay attention to our language to figure out, oh, this is where my beliefs lie. Then asking ourselves, why is this the case? Why is this what I believe? Why is this my language? You'll be surprised as to what may pop up. We tend to be on autopilot, just going, that we don't necessarily even realize where are we going and who's going there. So beginning to ask ourselves these questions is what allows for us to come into contact with our belief set. Once we unearth what our belief set is, then we can begin to change it. Just like the fish crossing the other fish and asking the first fish, how's the water? And the fish is like, what water? The fish don't even know it's in water. So if we don't know that we're swimming, how can we change the temperature of the water? So once we come into contact with our specific water temperature, then we can begin to apply process to change the temperature or to leave the temperature as it is if it is in alignment with where it is that we're trying to go. So in the case of the young lady that spoke in a conference this past week, she didn't believe that she could do something without her notes. And it wasn't until somebody outside of herself told her that you are your notes. You are the person that has the capacity to draw these notes up. These notes wouldn't exist if it wasn't for what it is that you've come to understand. Your innate wisdom are your notes. You don't need your notes because you are your notes. And then that young lady taking heed and being humble enough to receive this information from her mentor. Probably humble because she invested in the mentor, and when you got skin in the game, it changes a lot of things. But she took that advice, she took that suggestion and applied it, and then she became the person that no longer needs her notes because she is her notes. As a matter of fact, the talk that she gave shared that wisdom with me, and now I am practicing that same energy. Who it is that we believe ourselves to be is way more important than what it is that we currently are. Especially if who it is that we believe ourselves to be isn't exactly in alignment with what we are. What we believe is way more important than the current manifestation, because what's going on in front of us is circumstantial. It is always subject to change. Who we believe ourselves to be is more permanent than the things that are right in front of us, because things will always change. So in this moment, for me, I feel like it's important for me to make a change, for me to make a shift, and believe that I can show up to this show and deliver the amount of value that I feel that you all deserve without all of the over preparation and all of the work that I've been putting on my shoulders having to take place. I really believe in myself, and I really depend on myself in a lot of other areas. So there's energy I could borrow from other areas of my life as well. And that's another tactic that we can use. Taking a look at our life and seeing if there is another area in our life where we have sufficient energy that we feel that we can borrow from. So if I feel like I don't have the belief in myself to think that I can show up and do a open talk without any notes, I can take a look at my life and see where it is that I really shine at. And for me, is performing live in front of an audience. And then performing live in front of an audience, for me, that aligns with showing up to this show, this podcast show, with no notes, because in front of a live audience, I have to make things up on the fly and I have to fill out the audience. Granted, showing up for this podcast, there is no specific immediate feedback from you all, the audience. Like, I have to deliver value that I know that you'd appreciate just due to the feedback that I get from maybe social media or maybe from whatever it is that we've communicated on. But if I borrow the energy from those live performances, I always show up and show out. I did a lot of bombing. Let's say that. I bombed a lot to get to where it is that I am now. So, same with this podcast situation. I got to bomb a lot to get where it is that I know I'm going. To be able to show up and hop on this microphone and give you the value that I know you all deserve on the fly. And also cutting down my work time, at least in this instance right now, where the context is me and I'm a one-man show. And beautiful people, please believe that this isn't the final iteration of this show. This show will continue to evolve. I know those of you who have been listening for a while, may have even noticed that the tagline has changed, and that who it is that the show is aiming to talk to has kind of altered a little bit. I know you all have not changed, but what we have called ourselves and what we've come to define this community as has evolved and grown. And this is just the beginning. So everybody who's been listening from the beginning, this is a pivotal part of the show where your host, Bryce III, is learning how to show up and show out just as he does when performing in front of a live audience, which is in confidence, which is in preparedness, which is in being dependent upon my ability and capability to show up and give you all what I know you all deserve. And the beautiful thing about belief set is we literally have the option to intentionally alter our belief set towards what it is that we want ourselves to be. Let me say that simpler. You can believe whatever you want. So those disempowering beliefs, we can weed those out like flowers and weeds. They don't have to exist. I don't know where you got them from. I don't know where you picked them up from. But note, if you become conscious and aware of these things that do not serve you, you can grab those things and get rid of them. Just as well as you can plant empowering seeds in your life, in your dictation, in your vocabulary. We are in full control of our lives. We are in full control of our belief sets, and we are in full control over where it is that we go. But it's up for us to take the reins. It's up for us to begin this journey right now, this journey of intentionality. We're here at You Feel That because we feel this shit. We feel it in our bones. In every episode, we discover more and more how we could take what it is that we feel and turn it into something that empowers us. Last thing I'm going to say about belief set is you have the final say. There will be tons of time where people want to set on you what it is that they believe that you are. They'll try to put it on your shoulders what it is that you're supposed to be statistically, or what it is that you look like, or where it is that they look like you come from. But regardless of all that, whatever it is we believe ourselves to be is completely and 100% our responsibility. Whatever your desired reality is, you can get there. You got this. this, and we're going to get there together. And we're going to take all the feels along the way and use it to help us have an even more involved experience. There's a reason why you feel the ways that you feel. There's a reason why you feel the things that you feel. And there's a reason why you feel them intensely like you do. Getting intentional about your experience is like being the Sherlock Holmes of your life, doing an investigation as to why those reasons are. I'm so glad you continue to choose You Feel That as a space to come learn how to do so. And that's it. How did I do? Head over to Apple Podcasts and leave me a rating and review. Maybe give me a little write-up on how I did this episode, showing up without any notes. And then write-ups mean a lot, man. The write-ups mean a lot. When people show up to a podcast and they see that people are writing paragraphs about the person that is hosting a podcast or the podcast and how much information they're getting from it, I'm telling you, there's no more organic way to get more people to tap into the community. Go subscribe to the YouTube. We uploading the videos up there. My book, The Handbook, How to Create Your Desired Reality and Be a Good Human While You're at It, is for pre-order and will be out in January. You can click the link and wherever you get your podcast from, there'll be a link in the podcast notes and you can go there and pre-order the book right now. Share this podcast episode with 5 people, especially someone who needs to tap into understanding their belief sets. Once again, organic. Follow me on social media at Bryce the Third everywhere, but most active on Instagram and TikTok. And as a final quote, if you believe you can and if you believe you can't, you're right. And I think that's Henry Ford who said that. But best believe there are nothing but belief sets running parallel to your life's experience. I will catch you next time on You Feel That with Bryce the Third.